Good evening, everyone. I'm Kay Donaldson, Director of the Alabama Bass Trail Tournament Series, and this will serve as your Wheeler Lake pre-tournament meeting for the fourth stop of the Alabama Bass Trail North Division. I do want to start this meeting by giving a huge shout out and a thank you to the Decatur Morgan County Tourism Board, as well as Danielle Gibson, and Don Duke-Manier. They have been so helpful in bringing us to the great city of Decatur, to Ingalls Harbor and Wheeler Lake. So we look forward to being here. This is my home lake, my hometown, and I enjoy having our tournament here. It's the one time of the year I get to sleep in my own bed. But I do look forward to inviting you to my hometown, Decatur, Alabama, to one of my absolute favorite locations, Wheeler Lake. If you aren't a normal listener of the podcast, you may want to tune in tomorrow. We had a local Alan Johnson. We refer to him as Slick on our podcast, and he was dishing some dirt on Wheeler Lake this week. So we're excited to be here, and thank you for signing up for the Alabama Bass Trail North Division. I also would like to congratulate our winners at our last event on Weiss Lake, Mitch Mitchell, Candler McCollum. That was their fourth win on the Alabama Bass Trail and the fourth different lake that they've won on. So I think Gunnersville and Smith are the only two they haven't won on in the north. So they're going to have to sign up for the south really soon so they can go down there and see if they can take some of those boys' money. Also, a congratulations to Josh Austin and Zach Taylor. They won the $500 Garmin Highest Finisher Award. They have had a phenomenal season. They're sitting high in the points already. So, and they're coming to their home lake. So that should be interesting. Also, a huge shout out to Brian Shook, who took home the Wadali Marine Highest Finisher Award. That's a $1,000 bonus for buying his new boat at Wadali Marine. I can't say enough about all of you guys who continue to support our sponsors. We can't do what we do without their support and without your support, and it makes a lot of difference to see as many Garmins as we're putting on boats, to see as many Wadali Marine boats that are being sold, as many Phoenix boats that are being sold. So I want to thank you guys for supporting our sponsors. We simply could not do what we do without them. I also want to highlight our current Anglers of the Year in the standings, which would be Wesley Sams and Jordan Wiggins. They are leading the points by 25 points over the second place team going into the last two events. So did want to highlight that. I want to remind you that the top 75 teams in the points do make it to our championship. And right now, I think we have three inside of that, including a high school team and two of our winners that will also bump us down a couple of spots if that stays the way it is through all five events. We will try to notify you as soon as possible if you have made the championship. Also, I would like to remind you that the 2023 schedule did come out. It came out on May the 6th. We have that's posted on our social media. It's posted on our website. If you have not seen it, please tune in and go find it there if you're interested in registering for 2023. There is a couple of speculations you should know about. Priority registration is August the 1st through the 14th. And that is if you are fishing with the person you're fishing with this year. The only time you can change that is if your person, your team member has one passed away, two has been called to military service, three is in the event that they become disabled and are unable to fish with us, and then also if they have qualified for an elite status on the Bassmaster Elite Series, the MLF Pro Circuit, National Professional Fishing League, that would keep them from being able to fish with us. If you have any of those circumstances, you would need to contact me prior to registration and let us get that worked out for you. But those are the only stipulations that we will allow you to sign up during priority registration and still be able to sign up during that 14-day time period. Also, new teams, if you're watching this and maybe you've never fished an Alabama Bass Trail event and you're interested in signing up, registration for new teams takes place on August the 15th at 6 a.m. Alabama time. That's Central Standard Time. So August the 15th, 2022, if you're interested in registering for the 2023 season. We will be doing updates throughout the next 3 months to give you an idea of what information you will need to have on hand to register. We have zero idea of how quickly it will take for that to fill up. I can tell you over the past 2 years, it has taken less than 3 hours for it to fill up. We currently have 106 on the waiting list in the South and 96 on the waiting list in the North. That waiting list is for 2022. Those anglers that signed up for the waiting list do not get priority entry into the 2023 season. They will need to sign up on August the 15th, just as they tried to do in 2021. So that is the schedule. I think we start off at Smith Lake, then we go to Lake Gunnersville, we visit Neely Henry, then in May we go to Pickwick, and in June we go to Wheeler Lake. So that is the schedule. Again, we also added some money into the prize pot this year. We added a 75th and 150th place win. That'll be a $500 check wrote to those teams that finish in those places, as well as we added a $500 bonus to all 9 teams that qualify for the Bass Team Championship. We will not only pay your $500 entry fee, but we will also give you a $500 check to use for your travel expenses. So all in all, we added $19,000 to the pot for the 2023 season, which marks the 10th anniversary of the Alabama Bass Trail's first season. So those are some exciting things. We're going to get on into the presentation, but there's 2 things I want to remind you of. First of all, Ingalls Harbor is a phenomenal facility. It does have 10 lanes at the boat ramp. That does not mean you can wait until 5 o'clock and get there and be in the water and ready to blast off by 5:30. It does take some time. We give you ample time to rig your boat. Please make sure that you use that time wisely and don't show up. If you're boat number 15, don't show up at 5:30 and expect to get on plane through the harbor and get out at your normal time. We will blast off at 5:30 whether you're in the water or not. So please make sure that you use your time wisely, get to the harbor in plenty of time, and get tied up and be ready to go at 5:30 when we're ready to blast off. Also, I do want to remind you, the harbor is a very tight area. It is plenty big enough to store 225 boats, but what we're asking you to do is to not get on plane before you pass our blast off boat. We will be out in the middle of the kind of in the channel next to the buoy. Please make sure that you do not get on plane before you pass the blast off boat. We have a lot of equipment on that boat. We have a lot of people on that boat. We're shooting video. We're shooting still photographs. We have a lot going on. So please make sure that you stay idle only until you pass the blast off boat. Those are my words of wisdom here. I want to welcome you to the 4th stop of the Alabama Bass Trail North Division here at Wheeler Lake in Decatur, Alabama, at one of the most beautiful facilities that we go to at Ingalls Harbor. So we're going to go ahead and bring Scott in. I will stay kind of behind the scenes. I'll stay live if I need to chime in and make any comments. But Scott's going to start the logistics program for you. If you have any questions, as always, please post those in the comments. We will answer those now, or we will answer them as we see them come up in the comment section. Scott?
All right. Thank you, Ms. Kay. As Ms. Kay stated, we're ready to start with the presentation. If Chris, she'll give the first slide, please. As always, here's Chris's phone number. I'm sure most of you already got it in your phone, but if not, you need to stick it in there and have it. If you want to request a camera or any questions, concerns, TV show related, need to be directed to Chris at this number, 901-493-0437. Next slide. Rules overview. As always, when we start our presentation, I'm going to read our protest rule verbatim. Protests must be made in writing within 15 minutes of the official closing of scales at each tournament, and any written protest must be provided to the tournament director in writing within said time period. If a protest is not made in writing within the required 15-minute time period, the contestant waives his or her right to submit a written protest. All right, next slide. Welcome to Wheeler Lake. Boat check will begin at 2:30. Let me reinstate that. 2:30. Okay, that's 3 hours prior to blast off. We do this every tournament. That gives you 3 hours ahead of time to get there and get situated. We got backed up a little bit in the last North event at Weiss. We got guys saying, I got here at 4:45. Well, the team gets there at 2:30 to prevent that from happening. It is extremely difficult to try and get the last 150 boats in the water in the last hour. So please allow a little more time, travel time, rigging time, whatever the case may be. Let's try and get a few more boats in the water a little bit sooner. Makes it easier on everybody and gives those guys, everybody a chance to get in the water and get blasted off on time. Again, if you're going to check in by water, there'll be flashing lights on the dock. Kevin is there every time. He'll have flashing lights going. He'll have your fobs. He'll check your live wells, and of course, he'll tie on the ribbon. Safety first. Anytime your big motor is running, you must be wearing a Coast Guard rated PFD. Kill switch tethers are to be worn when the big motor is running and in gear. Please follow all posted water control signs and buoys. If you are ticketed, it does equal a DQ. We will blast off around 5:30 a.m. Or safe light. This past week, we were right on time, right at 5:30. Everything went well. And our first flight will be due in at 2 p.m. Okay, here's our logistics screen. As you can see, when you come off of the main road there, we have a really, really long area for folks to get in, and traffic kind of winds around behind the building there and loops back around. Rigging wise, other than letting Chris and his folks put a camera on your boat if you're a camera person. Everybody else, once you come in, show your text for Wheeler, get your fob, you're ready to launch and get out of the way so that everybody else can be moving. Again, pre-rig, guys. You got a long, big area there. Get your rigging done before you get to boat check. The only holdups there will be for cameras for those folks who are receiving those. There you see the water check-in at the end of the long dock. You'll pick up your weigh-in bags right there where the little star is. That's be close to behind the trailer there. This is not a trailer weigh-in. You will not put your boat on the trailer before you weigh in, guys. Tie up at the dock, weigh your fish, then you can load your boat. The blast-off check-in boat, like Miss Kay said, will be just outside the point from the condos there over to the opposite point. We'll be out by the out just a little bit ways from the no wake buoy there to give you guys plenty of room to get out. Some will be going up, some will be going down. That's fine. But as Miss Kay stated, please stay on. Do not get on plane until you pass the blast off boat. Again, idle completely past the blast off boat before you guys hammer down and get on plane. We are a 12-inch largemouth and spotted bass size limit here on Wheeler with a 15-inch smallmouth, and a meanmouth will also be counted as a smallmouth. It's a 15-inch on smallmouth and meanmouth, 12 inches on largemouth and spotted bass. Next slide. There it is again for you, just as stated. Next slide. Again, there's my phone number. Everybody has it, 256-309-9852. If there's an emergency on the water, always call 911 first, and then only when safe to do so, either call myself or Kay. After weigh-in starts and I'm on stage at 2, you will have to call Kay as I mute my phone while I'm on stage. Next slide. If you're coming by water or using an alternate, make sure that you text me by Friday at 5. You'll get your boat assignment, boat number assignment, flight assignment, due in times, as always, on Thursday night at 7. That gives you a full day almost to make sure you get your information to me if you plan on coming by water or using an alternate. Again, that number is 256-309-9852. Please do not respond to your boat number text. It needs to come to my number, not the number that the boat number text comes from. Next slide. If you have any questions or comments, as Ms. Kay said, you can post those here. You can obviously email myself or her, or as always, shoot us a text in regular business hours. The last thing I want to cover before I turn it back over to Ms. Kay, guys, it's post-spawn and it's hot. I know the water temperature is not egregious at this point, but it's going to be 90 this week. Saturday, there's a chance we might get a little cloud cover, a possible sprinkle shower, or something like that. But post-spawn fish are stressed. Water temperature is getting up, so please take care of your fish. Have you some ice in your live wells? Put some G-juice in there, whatever fish care product you like. But do your best to keep your fish alive. We had several this past week who came across stage, with the dead fish. Cost them a pound, some valuable points. So take care of your fish. We'll do our fish care on our side. We're constantly monitoring temperatures of our tanks. We're putting water, we're putting fish care product in there. My guys do a great job keeping those fish alive once you guys get them to us, but you have to do your fair share as well. Keep those fish alive in your live well. Keep them cool. and use your fish care product. I don't see any questions popping up on my end, Ms. Kay. If you don't have anything, that's all I've got on my end.
All right, two things I do want to just hit on that Scott brought into my mind. I do want to remind you that you can weigh in 1 hour prior to official weigh-in time. So our first flight will be due in at 2 o'clock. If you have fish that you feel like are in stress that may not make it and you want to come in early, you can do that. You can hold them in our tanks. We will not bump them until 1 o'clock. So you can do that. I just want to remind you, at all Alabama Bass Trail tournaments, you can weigh in 1 hour prior to official weigh-in time. So that is a possibility if you're afraid that your fish are getting in a stress situation and may not make it. You want to weigh that fish in. I want to remind you to do that. Also, just a reminder, you cannot cull a dead fish. So please make sure that that is a disqualification if you do that. So make sure that you come in that hour early. One other thing I want to make really clear is usually on Thursday or Friday, we will send out an email or a text to the teams that are going to be getting cameras and tracking devices. I do want to let you know that that is not an option when we send you this message. If you have just a absolute fear of having it in your boat, if you're just adamant that you do not want it in your boat, you need to call myself or Scott and we will have that discussion with you. But it is never okay to take that device out of your boat. It is not okay to turn it off or tamper with it in any measure. That is a disqualification if we find out that your tracking device has been placed somewhere else, if it has been turned off or your camera has been turned off. So I do want to remind you that that is not to be done. That is rule number 29 covers that, and it is a disqualification. So we are getting down to the end of the year. We're getting down to the points race. We do want to make TV. We want to make a good live show, and that's what we use those instruments for no other reason. We're not there to tell your spot. We're not there to give away your secrets. We're simply there to make a great TV show and to provide as much knowledge on the lake, to provide as much coverage for our sponsors and yourself and your sponsors as we possibly can. So I just want to remind you that if you don't hear from me by Friday, that you're in the clear. But if you do hear from me by Friday, we will be notifying you if you have a camera specified for your boat or a camera and tracking device. Like, they go hand in hand. If you get one, you get the other. Some people will only get a tracking device while they're on Wheeler Lake. So if you're inside that top 10 in the points, odds are you probably are going to have a camera or a tracking device. So just to let you know that. That's really all I have for tonight. Encourage you to be safe when you're out on the water. We are expecting a little bit of weather on Saturday, hopefully not too much, maybe just enough to cool us off a bit. Look forward to seeing you all here at Wheeler Lake. This is the home of the Alabama Bass Trail. Our offices are here. Should you need us, feel free to give us a call. If not, if we don't hear from you before, we'll see you on Saturday. As Chris always says, God bless and good fishing. We'll see you at Wheeler Lake.